Let's take a few minutes and clean up our table of contents. We're in Chapter 8, Backpack California, and if we scroll down, we can see that the sections that we created, the one at the bottom, Section 5, if it were alphabetically ordered, should be up here as Section 2. So simply click on the icon for Section 5 and drag it up into the correct location and drop it down. You'll notice the section automatically renumbers to be Section 2 instead of Section 5. Next, go ahead and scroll all the way up to the top of your sidebar and click on Table of Contents, and then change the orientation view to Portrait View. Here, we can see that some of our chapters are not quite in alphabetical order. It'd be nice to have that set up. So we'll simply scroll down in our sidebar, grab Chapter 8, Backpack California, and drag it up until the blue line shows just above Chapter 2. When we drop it in place, Chapter 8 now becomes the new Chapter 2, and all of the other chapters are renumbered as well. We can do the same thing with California Calm, changing it to be Chapter 3, and Psycho California, making it Chapter 4. Go ahead and scroll back up to the top of your sidebar and click again on Table of Contents. Next, let's turn our attention to the header graphic here. The first thing we want to do is adjust the text, Explore California. We'll go ahead and double-click California, then hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and click just to the left of the E in Explore in order to select the entire line of text. We'll change the font so that it matches the font on our cover page to Palatino. We'll change it from bold to regular, and then we'll change the size down to 64 points. Next, let's change the color of Explore by double-clicking on Explore, click the Inspector button, click on the Text tab, and then on the color chip, and we'll select the same gold color that we chose earlier out of our Explore California logo. Click off of the text to deselect it. Next, let's go ahead and replace the placeholder image. To do that, bring up your media window and find the cover image and drag that and drop it into the placeholder image. Next, click one time on the cover image and drag it over to the left-hand side so you can leave a small area of white space over here to the right-hand side. That's just enough space for us to add our logo and drop it into place, and then drag it around until you get the grid lines so that it snaps in place. Then click one time on our cover image and drag it back over to the right-hand side until it snaps back into alignment. If you double-click on this cover image and drag it up and down, you can find just the right portion of the image that's going to add the right amount of visual interest. Next, let's zoom in our page so it's a little bit easier to work with. Let's zoom up to 100%, and now let's add a gold transparent bar down at the bottom by clicking on Shapes and the Box tool. Then move the box so that it aligns with the bottom of the image, grab the top of the box, change the height of the box down, and stretch the box out so that it fills the space underneath of Explore California. The top of the box should align at approximately the same height as the top of this portion of our logo. Then if we go back to our inspector and we go to the graphic tab, change the fill pattern to color fill, click the color chip, and select the same bright yellow color that we chose in an earlier movie. We can then change the opacity down to 50% and hit enter or return to accept that change. Things are looking a lot better. Let's go ahead and add a text box, and then select the text inside of the text box and type in 2012 Travel Guide. Select the text and change the font size to 18 points and the color to white. Then deselect the text box and click once on the text to make a selection of the text box. Drag the text box so that it's appropriately sized, but make sure you drag the right-hand side of the text box out a little extra to leave a little bit of extra room over here to the right-hand side. Next, grab the text box and drag it and place it above the Explore California logo. With the text box still selected, go ahead and check the link for shadow to add a drop shadow to that text. Then press Command-C on your keyboard to copy it, Command-V to paste it, and then move that new copied text down so that it's centered inside of the gold transparent bar. We can then select this text and type in our web address, www.explorecalifornia.com. explorercalifornia.com. Deselect the text, and you'll notice that the text becomes a hyperlink again. Since we stretched out the text box a little bit further, if we double-click in that text box, then it will automatically select the text inside of the text box. We can then come back over to our link tool in our inspector and uncheck the box for Enable Hyperlink. One more text treatment. Let's go ahead and click on the text box for Explorer California, go back to the graphics pane, and turn on the shadow for Explorer California. We can deselect, and now we have a nice cleaned up header that's nicely laid out for our table of contents.